I come as a pilgrim of peace. This was the message Pope Francis sent out to the people of Iraq a day ahead of his departure to the war-battered country. Tonight, as I speak, the Pope is in Baghdad to encourage the persecuted Christian community of Iraq to keep the faith. In the next 4 minutes, we'll get you a frame-by-frame analysis of this visit. Pope Francis arrived at the Baghdad International Airport slightly ahead of schedule. His plane touched down at 2 p.m. local time. He took the struggling Alitalia airline, hoping to help the Italian carrier make a comeback perhaps. Besides his entourage and security officials, a total of 75 journalists flew along with the Pope. As he descended the air stair, he was received by the Prime Minister of Iraq, Mustafa al-Kadhimi. The 84-year-old pontiff even shook hands with the Iraqi PM. This is his first foreign visit since the pandemic began. There have been a lot of concerns about his health and safety. The Vatican says he got himself vaccinated ahead of this visit. This was also the Pope's first visit to Iraq, the first by any Pope to this country, which is why the arrangements were elaborate. A motorcade of a dozen vehicles escorted the Pope to the presidential palace. The roads were lined with people welcoming him with Vatican and Iraqi flags. He could be seen waving at the cheering crowds. It's important to note here that there have been security concerns around this visit. Violence has resurfaced in parts of Iraq. There have been rocket attacks that have left 3 people dead in recent weeks. But the Pope insisted on going ahead with the visit, promising to prove the skeptics wrong, and Iraqi citizens, it seemed, reciprocated in kind.
I never thought that I would see the Pope, honestly. It was a visit we believed to be impossible. Even though the country's conditions are poor, infrastructure is poor, we thought it was impossible. But it was the best surprise.
This visit is one of a kind. We are excited and we all need this visit. All Iraqis do.
As he arrived at the presidential palace, the Pope was given a guard of honor. A band played the national anthem of both the Vatican City and Iraq. Upon entering the presidential palace, he was greeted with traditional Iraqi songs. Some symbolic gifts were exchanged. We are told that there were books and crosses made out of gold. The formality is done with. The Pope sat down for a brief conversation with Iraq's President Barham Salih. This was followed by a speech on the significance of this visit. The Pope spoke about the Yazidis, whom he called innocent victims of senseless atrocities, and he urged the government of Iraq to combat corruption and promote justice.
Among so many who have suffered, my thoughts turn to the Yazidis, innocent victims of senseless and brutal atrocities, persecuted and killed for their religion, and whose very identity and survival was put at risk. May the clash of arms be silenced. May their spread be curbed here and everywhere. May partisan interests cease, those outside interests uninterested in the local population. May the voice of builders and peacemakers find a hearing. The voice of the humble, the poor, the ordinary men and women who want to live, work and pray in peace.
The Pope wrapped up his first day with a visit to the Syriac Catholic Cathedral of Our Lady of Salvation. He interacted with bishops, priests and catechists. This cathedral was the site of a deadly terror attack in 2010. 58 people died and scores were injured. The Pope paid a tribute to the victims of the attack and urged Iraqi Christians to not get discouraged and increase their participation in public life. This was the latest as far as day 1 was concerned. What happens on day 2? He travels to the cities of Najaf and Nasiriyah. In Najaf, he'll hold a one-on-one meeting with the Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani, a highly reclusive cleric and the spiritual leader of Iraq's Shia Muslims. And in Nasiriyah, he will lead an inter-religious gathering at the plains of Ur. This place is revered as the birthplace of Abraham, who is considered a prophet in Judaism, Christianity and Islam alike. On the 3rd day in Iraq, the Pope will travel to Erbil, Mosul and Karakosh. In Erbil, he will meet the president of the autonomous region of Kurdistan. In Mosul, he will lead a prayer for the victims of the war with the Islamic State. And in Karakosh, he will visit ancient Christian sites that are being restored after years of war. Day 4, the last day of his visit, the Pope will return to Baghdad for a brief farewell ceremony and will then depart for Rome around noon. WION will be tracking this visit closely for the next 3 days. Watch this space for more reports. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.